Greetings and welcome to the Money Capital podcast, the voice of financial services in South Africa. My name is Kaya Buthelezi, your host. I was born and bred in the Zulu Kingdom, KwaMashu to be specific, mfana wasesinqawunqawini lo, ikasi lamakasi, but I now reside in eTshwane, in the capital city of South Africa. Welcome to my world, and yes, welcome to 2025, the year where we officially launch our channel, the Money Capital podcast. Our podcast is the voice of financial services in South Africa. Yes, and also in the rest of the African continent. If you are a professional, an entrepreneur, a player in the financial services sector, this podcast will be your source of empowering and enriching conversations that will shape your business, that certainly also will shape your career. If you are a trustee of a pension fund, an investment professional, as I said earlier, an entrepreneur, you want to start a business in the financial services sector, I'm certain that this podcast will be your source of very transformational information. We want to shine a spotlight on the financial services sector for many reasons, but mainly, we want this sector to transform, to reflect all South Africans. If I mean all South Africans, I mean people who look like me, who grew up KwaMashu, who grew up in the villages of Limpopo, who grew up in the villages of the Eastern Cape, and so forth and so on. All of those people must be represented in this sector. Because when those people are not represented in this sector, they are not sitting at the highest echelons of decision-making of the financial services sector, we will still have the sector that reflects, the picture pre-1994. We cannot have a situation where 30 years later, the people who make decisions, decisions that transform this economy still reflect a picture that is pre-1994. And therefore, it is important that we drive an agenda, a very deliberate agenda that seeks to transform and change this sector for the better for all South Africans. And I want to stress this point. For all South Africans, for the Magogos in my village, for the grandfathers in the village of the Eastern Cape, we want a sector that represents the pensioners of Khayelitsha, for instance, Mitchell's Plain, Eldorado Park, Phoenix in Durban, and so forth and so on, KwaMashu, Mlazi. So we don't want a sector that only represents a select few of our economy. One of the reasons why we want to change this sector and transform it to reflect all of our people is because it's an extremely important sector. It is a sector that is estimated to be roughly 4.8 trillion rand, and that is just the banking sector alone. If you also combine that with the retirement fund sector, you are looking at total assets under management of roughly 4.6 trillion rand. In total, you are looking at available capital of roughly 10 trillion rand, which is available in the South African economy. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it matters who control this sector. It matters who makes the decisions, in this sector. Because these decisions, they impact on 60 million South Africans. We can't have a situation where 60 million South Africans are impacted by decisions of a few who represent just one or two groups of populations in South Africa. We must have all populations represented in the highest decision making of the financial services sector. And the agenda to drive that transformation, I want to work with all corporates in South Africa. I want to work with all development finance institutions such as the IDC, such as the Public Investment Corporation, large asset owners such as the Government Employees Pension Fund, the Eskom Pension Fund, and all pension funds in the country. I want to work with you so that we transform this sector for the better. For these topics and more, please join me in subscribing to our channel, following and liking our social media pages. Just search for the Money Capital podcast. You'll definitely find us. In the next couple of weeks and months, we are going to be talking to big names in the financial services sector. And I tell you, some of these big names have been silenced, and yet these are the people who made immense contributions in building some of the multimillionaires we see in the black asset management space. These people have contributed, for instance, in the development of the black asset management sector, and yet no one is talking to them. They've been silenced. Why is this economy silencing these big voices that have made such a sterling contribution to our economy? So for all of these topics and many more, please just join me in this journey. I think it's going to be an exciting one. I think 2025, certainly for myself in my personal career and development, is going to be an exciting year. I look forward to very interesting developments, this coming year. Exciting adventures that I want to, things that I want to start and do. Yeah, I look forward to talking to you in our next episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.